Hey everybody, welcome to Bura. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about the current state of working from home. Alright, welcome back. First of this video, I want to make sure that you like and subscribe. The more likes and subscribers you get, the more content we can make. The number one reason why you subscribe to this amazing YouTube channel is to get into the money-making trends before they go mainstream. Alright, so is working from home any good? Well, I would recommend that if anyone wants to work from home, they probably should try at least a little bit. Now, before the pandemic, there was a lot of people that were telling me that I should work from home, and there's been a lot of companies that have been trying it. Specifically, Yahoo tried it and then it didn't work. But the pandemic basically gave us a huge sample size, and the answer is that it does work for some people doesn't work, and other people probably want a blended approach. Now, Apple did want to recall some of their employees, but what they eventually decided on was, since the Delta variant is rising, that they're going to close the office and let people work from home a bit more. Google has said that you can work from home, but there might be a pay cut. Now, this doesn't really make much sense, because shouldn't a job be worth a job no matter where you live? It makes much more sense to make Silicon Valley wages and move to an area where your money goes farther. I think this is a much smarter idea, and if it can work, then why not? But here's the thing, if you're working from home, you might be able to get two jobs at once. In fact, I heard of a rumor that someone worked at Google and Facebook at the exact same time, raking in a ton of different money, even though he wasn't allowed to do that. But if you ever get caught, you could end up in some fairly serious legal trouble. So don't try it unless you really think you can get away with it. But what should you do? Now, I always think that working from home and not in an office is a good idea. And what I mean by that is that going to an office every day from 9 to 5, 5 days a week is probably not a good idea. The best thing you can do is work from home and use your spare time to make friends and do other things. One of the things that I highly recommend that you do, specifically if you're young, is to join some team sports. Not only do you get to meet people, but you get to exercise as well, and make sure it's co-ed as well, because that will definitely expand your friend base quite a bit. By exercising and meeting people at the same time, not only are you hitting two birds with one stone, it is a really good thing, and I really like to do it. I used to play Ultimate 3 days a week, then 2 days a week, and now I'm only playing Ultimate 1 day a week, but then again, I have a family and my body isn't what it used to be. That's a story for a different time. Nevertheless, you can join other sports like tennis or cycling or running, but if you do any of these sports, make sure you go to some kind of group or club where you can cycle, run, or play any of the solo sports with a bunch of other people. Again, the whole point of working from home is that you can focus on your work, and then you can do things with your friends in your spare time. Do you really want to hang out with your coworkers all day? In some cultures like Japan, that's pretty much what you do. Now, I don't think this is a really good idea, because how often do your coworkers really share values with you? You should really go and spend time with your friends and family, because, well, I think it's just a much better idea. Having said that, there are some really good work relationships that I've made over the years, and I really do cherish them. So it's quite a bit of a balance. So what I think is probably gonna happen is there's gonna be like a flex day, and that day is probably gonna be Wednesday, where some people can work from home. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if that Wednesdays and Fridays now become half days. Just anecdotally, Friday afternoon has become a ghost town. In fact, there's not a lot of work that needs to be done on a Friday afternoon, because basically nobody's around. Unless it's urgent, nobody's doing that. And by the way, if you're a programmer, never deploy on a Friday. It's a terrible idea. Always deploy on a Tuesday. Now, I think that's probably what's going to happen, is that there's going to be a flex day, and that's maybe going to be Wednesday or Friday, or maybe even both. I think that's probably a pretty good idea. You came to the office Monday, Tuesday, had Wednesday as a flex day, go back to Thursday, and Friday's a flex day, and maybe even a half day as well. This is not necessarily a bad idea, and I can see a lot of businesses adopting this, but we all know that businesses are going to get people to go back to the office full time, and I think this is a huge mistake. Now, let's say your business is making between 5 and 20 million, and you have, let's say, around anywhere between 20 and 50 employees. Well, then you can probably find 50 people that would love to work from home, and not only that, your business doesn't have a whole bunch of expenses, and I think this is a really good thing. Not only do you find 50 people who love to work from home and will love to work from home forever, you will actually be saving quite a bit less than all the other businesses that have expensive office space. There's no reason to have an expensive office in downtown San Francisco, when in theory you can have a cheaper office elsewhere in the country. Nevertheless, you might not even have an office, and I would say that if there was a maximum size to a completely work-at-home company, it would probably be 50 employees. After that, that would get pretty hard to do, and even at 50 employees, it would be a bit much. So if you are setting up a business, it might be good to have a small office space in the same time zone where it's kind of like your home base. And this is good because then people can move around the home base and go to the office if they want to. And I think this is something that employees are going to want to do at some point in time. But the thing is, though, is that there might be a lot more outsourcing, and this makes a lot of sense because if I can hire someone in a very rich country, then I can hire someone with just as equal talent somewhere else around the world. But the problem with that, though, is that people might be in different time locations. You might have someone in Australia, India, South Africa, the UK, and Brazil, and all those people are in very much different time zones. And if you're, let's say, in the Pacific Northwest, well, then there's a lot of things and a lot of different times you have to coordinate. If you have your main base of people in an area or even the same time zone, it's quite a bit better. Now, if you do want to have a big company with different satellite offices, this could actually work out fairly well for you because you can maybe have 1 or 2 or maybe even up to 10 office spaces around the country in different areas, and then people can go work there. Now, if you're living in the United States, office space seems to be quite a bit cheaper than the rest of the world, and this makes sense because, well, I think they perhaps overdeveloped office space, but the thing is that you can probably find cheap office space there. Now, if you live in other countries, office space might be not as in demand. Even at the end of this pandemic, there are some cities that still have some office space shortages, if you can believe that. Now, of course, this is more or less the Australia, New Zealand, Canada area. Now, if you're living in the United States, you could probably find an office space that's not too expensive, that's maybe a 20-minute walk or a 20-minute bike ride away from your house. And this might not be a bad idea. I've started biking to work. It's about 4 kilometers away from my house, or what is that in miles? I don't even know. But whatever it is, I still get quite a bit of exercise every day because it's uphill both ways. At least that's what I'm telling my kids. But getting that little bit of exercise is helpful, and if you can find a simple office space around you, then it might not be a bad idea. So in conclusion, a lot of companies are not going to make work at home permanent, which if you bought a house very far away from your office, I do feel for you, but you probably shouldn't have done that in the first place. But I think a lot of the more successful companies are going to have a flex, work at office and at home, and some of the smaller companies are probably just going to work from home forever and be incredibly profitable. All right, so that concludes this video. I want to know your thoughts down below. Do you like working from home? Please post your comments down below. If you really like this channel doesn't do a Patreon. Instead, we sell our digital products down below. The more you get from the content that you buy below, the more content we can make on this channel. If you really like this channel, you can subscribe to Mammoth Interactive's huge library of content. We release 20-60 hours of fresh new content per month, every single month. And with your help, we can get to 10,000 paid subscribers, in which case we can release 200 to 300 hours of content per month, every single month, plus make a bunch of edtech software. We really do like it when you subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.